Hello, everybody. Another NADA 2023 short. I'm joined today by Natasha and Ed. Please tell us a little bit about who each of you are, if you don't mind.
I'm Ed Roberts, COO Bozard Ford Lincoln, and enjoying NADA out here today. And it's good catching up with some friends and seeing the new products. And
Indeed.
It's just been a good time.
Yep, and I'm Natasha, and I'm with Quantum 5 and part of their training and coaching, and I am enjoying the show. It's been really great to see a lot of old friends.
I got to tell you, I think it maybe last year I met Ed. Well, maybe it's 2 years ago.
A couple of years now, yeah.
I met a lot of wonderful people from Quantum, Ed at Bozard. As a matter of fact, for those of you that saw the EV and the future of fixed operations, I talk a lot about Bozard Ford for a lot of different reasons. The restaurant, I have fun with this with Ed. The restaurant is simply amazing. But it's not only that, it's their process, their system, and how, in my opinion, fixed operations has been revolutionized, and his store is one of the examples of why it works so good and how to stop the bleeding with advisors and mobile service and all the technology that can accelerate the momentum that he had in place. Not that all technology is good at creating momentum, but it is accelerating. So with both of you here, what have you learned? Any exciting new stuff that you've seen or people you run into for the first time, or anything that just caught your attention you'd like to talk about?
Well, I want to touch on what you just talked about there with technology. The technology doesn't fix things. It enhances what you have. So if you have a good, solid process, then the technology enhances it and really gives it the efficiency that we all need. We're all looking to get more with less. Well, you can do that with technology, but you got to have the core baseline there first. And then the rest is just icing on the cake.
Yeah.
As far as the new stuff here, there is a lot of new technology here. I like seeing all the new EV stuff because we have to prepare for that. Our infrastructure isn't where it needs to be, not just publicly, but in our dealer franchises, in our customers' homes. We got to have to help customers with their in-home infrastructure as we continue to move into that EV evolution. And I know you talked about some of that in your workshop. But so I'm glad to see a lot of that here and the opportunity of what lays in front of us.
Natasha, any thoughts?
Yeah, I've enjoyed seeing so many dealers coming out here with a purpose to better their employees. Seeing all the different training programs out here, and everybody's out here eager to find something to help grow their employees. It's been really nice to see that.
That's great. Some of that I mentioned, and certainly I believe. I know a lot of our philosophies are aligned. It's all about people.
Right.
And I use this at the end of each one of my workshops that Lee Iacocca said, ladies and gentlemen, in the end, you can sum all business up to three things, and that's people, product, and profits. And the most important of which are your people. And yes, I know sometimes people leave for a few dollars an hour or more, but the vast majority of them don't. They were already unhappy, and that was just a catalyst to move. And I really believe, almost as much as people breathe in oxygen, that they want to know that they count, they matter, they make a difference, and they're a part of something much bigger than, instead of being an island or something like it. They want to be led. They don't want to be managed. And people need to be managed, but I have some philosophies for that. Managers light a fire under people. Leaders light a fire inside people.
Correct.
And find out what their true motives are and their why, so that we can help them. And that's what it's all about, right?
We get things done through people. And when you get that, it's what you can accomplish is just, you can't vision where you can go, because it's going to take you further past anything you can think of. And then when we recognize them and we pull them in and we understand their why and understand why they do what they do, and you recognize them, people repeat what they get recognized for. So people are, if the more we pour in, the more they're going to give us back.
Right. You take care of your people, and then they take care of you.
I don't think I had, maybe I didn't ever mention this to you, but about 3 years before Zig passed, I bumped into somebody, one of his people at a dealership, and they said, hey, would you like to lead a devotional with Zig, which he has every Monday morning at his office in Dallas, because this is where I'm from. That was quite an honor, and I grew up with Zig, right? I do ascribe to that philosophy. If you help enough other people get what they want, You really will. And a lot of people don't understand what it is, but when it's all about selfish, self-seeking, self-centered behavior, you're going to find probably with that, if there's a lot of turnover, the speed of pack is probably set by the leader. You're not that kind of leader, I know that. And I want to reference something that happened when I first met him, even though I knew him from the mastermind Zoom thing, during the pandemic. But I visited his store. And I didn't expect what was fixing to happen. It was kind of an impromptu. I think within a day or two, he knew I, invited me out. We sat down. We talked in his office for about 3 to 5 minutes, as I remember it, about business. And then for the next hour or so, he took me on a tour. He took me on a journey with a destination. And I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it right now. It was a defining moment. I'll never forget that. Never saw that. But I have to tell you one thing that I noticed. And obviously he knows. So we're I think it's at the Lincoln Building. We're on the second floor. He's introducing me to people. And I'm looking out at the lights and fixtures and stuff that are way high in the showroom. There's no dust. I mean, we're talking about, it's meticulous from top to bottom, from crack to crevice, from I could go on about the bathroom. I'm not going to do that. I love the bathroom in the restaurant. That's another story in itself. But that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. That of a real servant leader. And Quantum 5, I love everything they're doing, what they're about, what their future is, how they align themselves. And I think there's a huge paradigm shift in the industry, and I think both of you are well aware of that.
Yes.
Absolutely. The industry has taken notice that their people are important. And when you pour into your people, like you just mentioned, the reason why that place is that way is because they take pride in it. And when they take pride, then the rest is easy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so easy when you find somebody's why. And what I found is, I know we're probably getting off subject here, but I love talking about this stuff. We go to school and, we're talking about all these things we want to conquer and these dreams, lofty dreams and goals. And a lot of times, unfortunately, people say, you can't do that. I tried that. That won't work. A lot of us don't pay attention. Well, few of us don't pay attention to that. A lot of us do for many, many years. The older we get, the closer those dreams are to our heart because they've been, you can't do it, I tried that. So we're reluctant because they're very personal and emotional,
right.
Mine were. And then I met somebody like you folks, because I know how you are. And they found out my why and they got me to open up. And it was very emotional. And I was full of fear. And I learned some very valuable things. And one of them is from one of the first mentors I had that started me on this wonderful journey I'm on now. And he said, Russell, are you willing to do the things that other people are not willing to do so that you can have and become the things that most people will never have or never become? What are you willing to do? I didn't know about stepping out of the comfort zone. I didn't understand the fear of the known and unknown and why people are afraid to, of the other side. But he opened and unlocked that door. And when I did, those people that were in my sphere said, oh, you can't do that, don't do that, I tried that, that won't work. Had nothing, I realized at that moment, it had nothing to do with me, it had everything to do with them because I disrupted their comfort zone, because I stepped out and did something and listened to somebody who inspired, I don't want to get emotional, I can get emotional about this, but inspired and motivated me to go to the next level. When I did, I met people like Natasha and Ed Roberts that were just saying, hey, I love you, I like what you're doing, let me introduce you to this person, let me introduce you to that person.
Right.
So what I heard you say is you became vulnerable, and in order for things to really happen, we have to open up and be vulnerable.
That's right.
And put ourselves out there, and that comes with trust. So it doesn't happen automatically.
No.
It has to lead up to it. But when you became vulnerable and really made that connection, open up that channel of vulnerability, then you realize that it is something different.
It's powerful. I mean, it was, and I tell people today that are shut down, I know they got hurt, whether it's a relationship or business or whatever, it happens. We put people on a pedestal, we shouldn't do that. They're people like us, they have their own trials, tribulations and stuff like that. But if you want to continue to grow, you're going to have to open yourself up and learn how to be vulnerable and understand that God, as far as my relationship with him, is I'm responsible for the effort. I'm not responsible for the outcome. Right. Don't get me wrong. I still try to take the driver's seat occasionally, don't you?
Yes, yes.
And then we're reminded it's okay. Get back on my horse and move on down the road.
Yep.
I think being vulnerable and intentional every day, you can't lose.
Thank you. Well
Bring
said.
the right attitude and effort.
Yep.
That's
Thank
right.
you very much. Hey, everybody. This is a little bit different episode of what we've been doing, but this was very exciting. And Natasha and Ed, thank you both for spending a few minutes with us and
Yeah,
sharing some of
absolutely.
your insight and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Russell.
Russ.
Okay.
We appreciate it.